Warning, risk of seizure. That's scary. I can already tell this is a hardcore game. Havoc Games. Reticulating splines. Oh man. So let me go load up comments. Oh fuck, that's a laggy stream, I think. Is it? Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's also fine. Accept. I'll accept all the spyware. Oh god, why is my browser so freaking laggy right now? I want it on. Helmet visibility on. Who takes off their helmet in the middle of combat? Subtitles on. We have like audio language something else. We'll have like Japanese Space Marines. How about we'll have German Space Marines? That could be cool. We'll have German Space Marine. Display mode. Borderless. Quality, DLSS. Dynamic FPS. Release. FPS limit to... Let's go limit to 60 for streaming. Maybe 90 should be fine. Blur intensity off. I don't like blur intensity. Sec, I think I just see my streams. Okay, seems to be alright so far. Brightness calibration, VSync off. Ultra high, AO high. Green space effect. All this is fine. Lot of sim. Yeah, it's fine. For activation, toggle. Shift, WSD. Dodge is space. Okay. Camera. We'll check this once we're in game. Camera shake. Yeah, sure. Audio. Voice chat off. like voice chat. Base, object highlight. Yeah, spot mover, highlight, share. Overhead markers. Okay, it might get really busy. Unpreset. Let's go do full reminder tips. Sure for now. Targeting panel. Here. Encrypted message. That's everything. Okay, new game. Let's just go with normal for now. I heard... Oh, set us the intended experience. Okay, we'll do that then. "41st millennium. Humanity stands on the brink of annihilation. Man is beset on all sides by hostile aliens and threatened from within by traitors and heretics." So 41st millennium, this is after the Horus Heresy, I think. So this is like 1,000 years after the Horus Heresy. I could be wrong. I really need to brush up on my lore. In the grim dank of the far future, there is only war. Imperial held ridiculous system. Invasion. He has a jetpack. You think like he'd be able to slow his fall with it? Whoa, okay.
Kill team
Wait, hold on. Settings, video. No widescreen yet. Resolution, render resolution. Does it have to be full screen? It has to be full screen, huh? Wait. Let me go look this up. Apparently it's coming. It's coming in a later patch. So I guess we'll just switch to a different format. Okay, let's go add in display capture. And then, okay. Force SDR. Let's go do that. Oh. Okay, let's go turn display mode back to borderless. Can I just like shrink the sides here? Oh, no, that's not gonna work. Uh-oh. Properties. Fuck. That's not good. Oh man, why is everything lagging so hard? Oh my god. I'll switch back to the normal format for now. Maybe windowed? What the heck? It's still capturing the cursor even in windowed mode. Okay, well, I'll fix this off screen later. We'll just have a jank first stream, I guess. Man, like, Space Marines 2, it makes everything outside of the program like insanely laggy. I don't know why that is. Like when I alt type, everything is like running in like 1 FPS. Space Marines 2, I'm playing it.
Wiederhole, Kill Team Anführer an Trupp. Vox
I'm playing it right now. I just got started. I was changing settings. It doesn't allow. It doesn't allow widescreen just yet. Can we gather this? Is this an herb?
Kontakt zum Bruder. Nähere mich dem Orbitalwerfer. Sichere die Post.
Ich gehe jetzt zur Absturzstelle.
Oh yeah, the German really puts me in the mood.
Ist Nachricht vom Kommandanten? Negativ. Kein Kontakt seit dem Absturz.
Bin hier, verdammt.
Kelstros, du hast das Kommando. Wie lauten deine Befehle?
Jesus Christ, German sounds so good with this.
Die Virusbombe in die Stratosphäre schießen, detonieren und zuschauen, wie die Tyranniden abkratzen. Das wird ein freudiger
I can't attack?
Anblick.
Der Transmitter ist
Oh,
defekt.
right click for attack. That's crazy.
Hier wimmelt es von denen.
Can I not swing my weapon if this? Oh, okay. Armor. Damage depletes armor. Armor regenerates after a small delay. Recently lost health can be restored by dealing damage. Okay. So I have to be careful about taking too much health. Health is like ammo in this game, I guess. Wait, the title says Destiny 2? Okay, let me go change that. Oops. Yeah, why? Oh my god. Like, why is everything so laggy outside of this game? When I alt tab. Oh my god, it's so laggy. I'm just waiting for like my browser to like load. Maybe it's like the anti-cheat. It is like killing performance outside of the game. Hold on, let me, it might, okay, it's loading up. I'm thinking it might actually be faster, just quit the game and then restart. Yeah, I'm just gonna quit the game. Like, it's just like so laggy. We'll quit and then I can finally like move my cursor outside of the game. Encoding overloaded. Consider turning down video settings. Okay. What's it called? Space Marine 2. So OBS is telling me that the encoder is getting overloaded, so I have to turn down settings. We'll go ahead and do that once we're back in. But the title should be updated now. Let's get past all this. Okay, we'll turn down settings. Hey, no. Maybe we should turn it down to dynamic video. My RTX 3080 isn't strong enough to actually play the game normally. Still says encoding overloaded. Joining server. I have to be in a server to play single player. Oh god, why is it so laggy? Oh, okay, it's fine.
Kill-Team-Anführer in Trupp. Vox-Check.
Oh god, what the hell? Consider turning down video settings. Render resolution dynamic. God, what the hell? FPS target. I'll just like turn everything down to high. Or like just like default, I guess. I do want texture resolution though. That is pretty good to have. Texture filtering. Volumetrics can be like, yeah, it could be low actually. Effects. Medium, detail. Medium. Okay, we'll try that.
Wiederhole. Killteam-Anführer in Trupp. Vox bestätigen.
Holy shit, encoder is still
Team an.
overloaded?
Wir sind circa 20. Position abgestürzt.
I heard it has VRAM issues. Well, this has become like a Space Marine 2 troubleshoot stream instead, I guess. Nice. I'll go look it up. I'll look it up on my phone because I can't use my computer when this game is being played. Hmm. Maybe if we do. Oh. Hmm. We're gonna do like performance, ultra performance. Maybe
Habt ihr
that's
die
better.
Virusbombe?
Oh, there we go.
Verdammt.
Now I can actually stream it. Holy cow. There's no more encoding errors. Oh, hey, look at that. I can actually like alt tab and like use my computer. There you go. That's better. Even though the game looks really blurry now.
Zur Abwehr. Kontakt zur Bruder. Nähere mich dem Orbitalwerfer. Sichere die Position.
Kelstros, Ulfa. Ich gehe jetzt zur Absturzstelle. Verstanden?
Let me go see. Oh, you have optimized settings. Oh, that'll help. Okay, let's go try that then. Texture filtering ultra. Ultra high. Right. GPUs. I can probably do ultra here. Shadows, medium, SSO, default. For high for DLSS. Default volumetrics low. Lower medium. Medium. Let's go to try doing yeah, like it seems like render resolution is this has the biggest impact on what Like I can actually stream on ultra performance. What is ultra performance? Let's go try doing performance and see if we can do that. Make the game look a little nicer.
Ist Nachricht vom Kommandanten.
I'll check my stream
Negativ.
to make
Kein
this not
Kontakt seit
laggy.
dem Absturz.
Bin hier,
It's alright
verdammt!
so far.
Kelstros, du hast das Kommando. Wie lauten deine Befehle? Wir gehen nach Plan vor. Die Virusbombe in die Stratosphäre schießen, detonieren und zuschauen, wie die Tyranniden abkratzen. Das wird ein freudiger Anblick.
Der Transmitter ist defekt. Kommandanten, hier wimmelt es von denen.
What's the FOV? Can I change the FOV to something less limiting? No FOV. Okay.
Ulfa, wo ist die verdammte Virusbombe?
Oh, there we go. Hold right click to finish a chainsaw combo with heavy attack. Ah, okay.
Ich habe mit diesen elenden Ganten ganz gut zu tun. Was Neues von Bruder Darius oder dem Kommandanten? Nichts. Jetzt gebührt die Ehre uns allein, Kelstros.
Durchhalten, Brüder!
Press C to parry.
Sporen!
Spores.
Und jetzt sollen die mich aufhalten.
Okay. Ooh, whoa, I don't want to lock on. I feel like locking on is a bad idea. Damn. Finishers, okay.
Ulfa, du musst diese Bombe erreichen. Das werde ich. Und wenn ich mich zu ihr durchbeißen muss.
Not sure if I like the melee combat very much. Seems a little bit like I'm spoiled by Xanima, so.
Darius. Bruder. Ich werde sie rächen.
What? Oh. Got a bolt pistol
Dieser
now.
Bolter wird dir zu Ehren dröhnen, Darius. Das schwöre ich. Los, Ungeziefer!
Is reloading
Es
remove
wird
the
Wochen
entire
dauern,
mag?
bis ich diesen
Or
Xenos-Geschmack los bin. Ach, die Situation hier am Werfer wird immer kritischer. Hast du die Virusbombe gesichert?
looks a bit
Jedes Mal, wenn ich
very
einen
simple.
Ganten zermalme, kommen 10
Yeah, I
weitere.
can't say I'm a big fan of melee.
Wenn wir die Bombe nicht hochgehen lassen, wird die Tyranniden nichts aufhalten. Bin fast an der Absturzstelle. Sorg einfach dafür, dass der Werfer noch steht, wenn ich ankomme. Ich halte die Stellung, solange ich kann.
Weaken the enemy. Hold right click to knock back small enemies and mark them for a gun strike. I just want to shoot things. Loot. Does this game reward exploring? Oh, there's an ammo box here. Not allowed to go in there. So if I reload, does that? Okay, it just takes one bullet from my reserves. It doesn't like delete my 11 bullets in the mag and then refills it with a new mag, like in real life. Or clip. Okay, jump up here. Oh, what the fuck is that? Oh my god. I thought those were like someone's legs for a second. Someone shoot. There's like I guess it doesn't make sense to just climb up that dinky ladder over there, huh? I'd probably collapse under my weight.
Wir haben keine Zeit mehr. Killteam, bin an der Absturzstelle.
Use the virus bomb. There you go, sniper.
Ulfa! Bären! Bären, mein Bruder. Deine treue Ergebenheit ehrt das Imperium.
Take a look around if there's see if there's any ammo on the ground. There was some back there before us, so the game does reward a bit of exploration. Oh, ammo. Oh, we get a rifle now. Is that a rifle? No, that's a virus bomb. I think. It's like a virus bomb.
Ulfa, Kelpsross, wenn ihr mich hören könnt, ich habe die Virusbombe. Bin auf dem Weg zum Orbitalwerfer.
Fester kannst du nicht zubeißen, Xenos. Komm schon! Andere Schulter!
Whoa, how did I do that? I'm just pressing random buttons. I'm pressing random buttons. I'm doing it. I'm doing my part. Oops. I'm too used to like looting bodies. I just like run up to them and press E or whatever. I don't have ammo. I need more ammo.
Die Tyranniden sind durchgebrochen.
Oh my god. Connection lost? Continue offline. Oh my god, what's going on? Was this just supposed to like run past that or something? Or it's kind of like got deleted. Interesting.
Die Tyranniden sind
I guess
durchgebrochen.
I just like, do I just run past them?
Irgendjemand ist die Bombe auf dem Weg.
I'll just try running. Like the objective is to reach the facility, not to kill everything. Maybe that's why I died. Oh fuck. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. So the door opening does damage.
Die Tyranniden sind durchgebrochen.
Hey, I got full ammo though.
Irgendjemand ist die Bombe auf dem Weg.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ. They really just like they really want you to press all the buttons. This isn't a, oh my god. Fuck. Man, I don't know. This game. Try
Die
again.
Tyranniden sind durchgebrochen. Ulfa, irgendjemand ist die Bombe auf dem Weg.
I think this is, I guess it's just like a melee game. The guns don't really seem to matter that much, at least not yet. That guy's shield is also, I can't shield. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, it's really a game that you have to get those button presses in. Otherwise, like, man, this pistol fucking sucks. Like, if you don't get those button presses in, you're not actually fighting.
Kelstros, alles klar?
So it's more like a puzzle game than an action combat game. Less reflexes and more make sure you're pressing the right thing. What the fuck is that?
Du hast deinem Imperator gut gedient, Bruder.
Jesus. That's horrifying.
Blogaufzeichnung. An die imperiale Einheit, die
Okay,
dieses
well we
Loch
have a
findet.
weapon now.
Mein Kill-Team hat eine Bruchlandung hingelegt. Alle meine Brüder wurden von den Tyranniden getötet. Ich habe die Virusbombe, bin auf dem Weg zum Orbitalwerfer. Zünde sie in der Stratosphäre, damit sie sich über die Tyrannidenstellungen verteilt.
Is this explosive? It is, okay. Red equals explosive. Log-Eintrag. Das Virus ist unsere einzige Chance, die Tyranniden zu verlangsamen. Das Virus wird sich durch ihre Truppen verbreiten. Okay, let's go switch back to English. Otherwise I have to keep looking at the subtitles.
They will adapt, but it will slow them down. The virus must be launched into the stratosphere. Nothing else matters.
Ew, don't stick your dick in that. Anything over here? Ammo, nice. Looks like a boss fight. Yeah, it's a boss fight. Or no. Maybe not yet. Ah, fuck. Fuck. Oh my god. Gotta get those parries in. Thing that happened. There we go. Triggered it.
Nothing else matters.
Yeah, definitely gotta get those parries in. If you don't get those parries, you get kind of sucked. Definitely button mashing. Not really button mashing, but you have to press the buttons. Anything over here?
Shift change overdue. Your tardiness has been flagged for invigilation.
Whatever.
Open the gates.
Jet is so small, oh my god.
Registered as on duty. Carry out the officer's work according to the divine synchronicity.
Look at the level design. Pretty sick. I can make stuff like this. Oh shit! What's the damage rate on that? Is there a damage fall off for the rifle? Hey, shh. My dogs are just randomly barking at nothing.
Inserting payload.
Payload chambered. Hazardous material detected. Further benedictions required.
Transmitting override authorization. Set course for stratospheric detonation.
The rite of safeguard must be performed. Seek an authorized Magos at the command console.
Grenades. Okay, hold on. Let's go change some settings around. Controls. So parry is going to be huge for this. Let's see. I usually use C for... Okay, yeah, we'll do that. Parry and block. Where is that? That's a very important button. Let's go do that. And then grenade. Where's grenade? We're gonna use grenades a lot. Use equipment. That's button 5. Okay, this looks fine.
Machine Spirit, where is the command?
Actually, hold on. Let's go change controls. Can we do like zoom in and zoom out with right click? Ah,
Also,
On the observation platform above, the Magos on duty does not respond.
summon the lift.
man. We gotta get out of here. This is a sniper hall. Oh my fucking god, dude. How long does this last? Forever? Oh. That is a really long timer. Toxic, because I can't actually see now. Any more? No.
Machine Spirit, what is the status of the orbital launcher?
Hibernation. Console inactive for 22 hours. This impiety to the Omnissiah has been logged.
Activate launch systems.
The rite of initialization must be performed. Seek an authorized Magos at the command console. The command console is posted at the edge of the observation platform. A Magos will attend to you shortly.
Doubtful.
Actually, hold on. Let's go change. We'll change Perry back to the. Nah, well, this is fine. This is fine.
Missions complete. Awakening systems from hibernation. Rite of capacitors initialized. Personnel may begin prayers of
I'm
charging.
gonna have some shit popping up. Down here, I think.
Can you not hasten the down process?
Seismic disruptions have occurred. Launch trajectory may have been altered.
I think we came through this door. Watch that stream. Oh shit.
Organic presence detected on the railway. All personnel vacate for launch. Launch preparations complete. Standing by. Magos.
Fuck. Ah.
Attention. Magos. Your launch authorization is required for dispatch of payload.
Okay. You know what
It is
would have been
done.
nice there? Playing like Volt from Warframe. Just press one button, everything's dead.
take you all with me.
Oh, I don't even have a health bar, so it doesn't matter. I guess what happens here.
I will not rest until you lie dead at my feet. Even if I am slain, I will leave you the wounds by which you will remember me.
Oh shit, that's not good. Ah, I should have dodged that.
We will eradicate your kind from the galaxy. May that virus strip your flesh from your bones.
What the fuck? I'm not expecting that. Ah! Oh shit. Am I out? How much ammo do I have left? Oh my god. There should be friendly fire for Tyranids. All these little guys have been wiped out by now. Oh, I'm switching my pistol now because I'm not down. How much health does this guy have? Holy shit. Fuck. Am I doing something wrong? Is that why it's taking so long? Am I out? I think I'm out. It's like not making the right sound. Oh. Oh, was I supposed to die there? Is that why it took so long? I think I I'm supposed to die here. We'll play a little bit more just because it's a new game. I was going to stop here. It is like the 1 hour mark and then switch over to sculpting, but we'll play like another hour, maybe one more mission or something like that, and then I'll switch over.
Praise the Emperor. The wound was fatal. You survived only through the Rubicon surgery. We remade you. You are a Primaris now.
Why?
Lord Calgar issued the command himself.
Is he here?
Gone. Summoned by the Primarch.
I must get back to the Watch Fortress.
You have been reassigned.
My place is with the Death Watch.
The Inquisition can find no stain on you, Titus. Accused of heresy. You have served penance in the Death Watch for almost a century. And not once have you faltered. But you will never know redemption until you have faced the judgment of your brothers. Prove yourself to us and know true absolution. What is your life?
My honor is my life.
What is your fate?
My duty is my fate.
What is your fear?
My fear is to fail.
What is your reward?
My salvation.
What is the
Is my
color of night?
Same way, my brother.
What is your craft?
My craft is death.
What is your pledge?
My pledge is eternal service.
The Rubicon surgery has remade you as a Primaris Marine. You are now stronger,
Oh man.
faster, and more resilient. You will take your place as an Ultramarine once more. Your brothers will know that you served in the Death Watch, but your dishonorable status as a Black Shield has been redacted from the archives. Should it be discovered, there would be...
What is the velocity of an
questions.
unladen swallow?
Lord Calgar has offered you a
It
second
depends.
chance.
Is it
Do
an
not
African
taint it.
or a European swallow? What is it, like African or European swallow? I think that's right. Oh, these things are creepy.
sir. The guardsmen will be cleaning up, brother. Lieutenant. Uranus, we have work to do. Gather the rest of the squad on the flight deck. Yes, brother.
Pretty cool. Look how tiny this guy is. You can pick him up and throw him down the abyss where he belongs. These guys are super cool. I always thought like the tech dudes are like insanely cool.
Stand by, Major. Sending Astarte support.
Thank you, Lord. We shall ready a counter-offensive.
Wow.
The effects of the virus bomb are
We're on
already
one of
wearing
those
off.
juggernauts, aren't we?
My lord. Lieutenant Titus reporting for duty.
Have Sergeant Gadriel report to the bridge. How are your wounds?
Good enough.
Yeah, that's right. That's what they're called. The Mechanicus. Yeah.
I'll be straight with you.
Those guys are
Titus.
insanely cool.
I have my reservations about your reinstatement.
They're one of the larger
There could be
inspirations
questions,
for
suspicions.
Project
I
Nova.
cannot afford discord among the men. Not now. You're a lieutenant now. Will that be a problem?
No, Captain.
Very well. We're facing a Tyranid splinter fleet. They engaged us on 2 planets. Avarax, a hive world, and Kadaku, which you already know. We're abandoning the latter. It's mostly Adeptus Mechanicus research facilities. We're evacuating critical assets and personnel. These defense guns are keeping the skies clear for our ships. The Tyranids have taken note. Get down there and protect those guns.
Captain, you wish to see me?
Sergeant, this is Lieutenant Titus. He'll be taking over command of your squad.
Sir,
I expect you on the ground within 30 minutes. Dismissed.
Lieutenant, forgive my hesitation. I am merely surprised by this development.
As am I.
Gadriel and Chiron.
Sergeant Gadriel, the Absolver is ready to depart.
Brother Chiron, this is Lieutenant Titus. He will be leading our squad.
Is that so? Well, I shall be glad to have a commander of such experience.
Got some
Is the
bros
rest of the
with me
squad
now.
ready?
Already assembled on the flight deck.
Good. We'll leave immediately.
This is such a cool view. I want to take a look first. Wow, you got like a bunch of Tech Mechanicus down there. Manning.
distance from the hive fleet.
Wow, that is really cool. You don't usually see something like this in games.
Ordnance on standby.
Like a bunch of tech dudes at their computers, workstations. Look at this. Like a star map. Got some incense and candles with your star map.
Spore volley on all specs. Headed toward
Sense.
Kadaku.
Transmitting telemetry data to our ground forces.
The Imperial Navy fleets are firing on the spores.
Good night. I said
This is
good
our
night.
assignment.
Acadians have
Oh,
lost
you're
control of
talking
the
to
orbital
Checho.
guns. We are to recapture them.
I think he was talking to the dog, not me.
The Tyranids are hurling spores of those guns in great waves. I'm impressed the Cadians held out this long. Brothers Lirio, Alterius, and Elliot make up the rest of our squad.
Have any of you faced Tyranids before?
Only these past 2 days.
Then there is much to learn.
I look forward to it.
Attention all personnel. Cycle ship.
What do you think you're doing?
Ordnance deployment. Officer has further details.
Obstructed.
Secondary gunnery
Stand
officer
aside.
Elrod.
Those warheads are not properly secured. Do you know what will happen if one comes loose?
Path obstructed. Stand aside.
I'll do it myself. Go and find a tech priest and tighten the screws in that half-brain of yours.
Task aborted. Seeking blessings and cogitation.
Magus Gallio will hear of this.
Watch assignments have been increased. Consult your
What do they look like? Like it's. I wish there's like a model viewer of all these characters and stuff.
attention apothecaries.
Yeah, look how detailed they are. Like if you can really get in close. Someone spent weeks, maybe months on this one character. Maybe a month. Probably not like months.
May
For,
any unauthorized personnel be admitted to Hangar Bay Solar 2 and Echo 11. Staff Officer Villamina, report to your Watchmaster immediately.
wow, this is really cool. Let's see this guy. Look at that weapon.
Compliance. Servitor, we detect an aberration in the resonant properties at engine manifold Gamma 2.
Assemble the required tools and components for a rapid engine service. You have until
I wonder if they understand. Okay, now you still got round handles on a bladed weapon. Whatever.
Pity the effects of the virus bomb are so short-lived.
Thunderhawk Absolver,
Those blasters.
clear for departure in 5 minutes.
Sergeant? Brothers,
Damn.
we are joined by Lieutenant
How's this
Titus.
thing even fly?
Welcome, brother. We are yours to command.
We leave
So heavy.
immediately.
Yes, Lieutenant.
Board the Thunderhawk. That is a cool ship. A really cool ship. Doesn't look like it would really work. Like, with wings that square, like, I guess it just like beats the air into submission. It doesn't really use the wings to fly.
Sir, you served in the Death Watch.
Yes.
That must have been a great honor.
Yeah.
It's a privilege to serve with you.
It's a privilege to serve with you.
Let's go.
You see those service studs? Our lieutenant is over 200 years old. He couldn't have been born a Primaris.
He spent half his life in servitude
You're right.
to the Death Watch.
And now he has your command.
Yes, they said he was in service to the Death Watch for over a century. Or for a century, I forget.
Hold your feet, soldier! Move to defend our west flank! And get those heavy bolters resupply!
Cadian regiment.
Major, give me an update.
The wretched beasts have taken the orbital guns. They pushed us back to this encampment and are staging a heavy assault.
Illyrio, take Altarius and Elion and remain here to secure the encampment.
Yes, brother.
Major, we must reach the defense guns.
Yes, my lord. Follow me. We are in the presence of angels. The situation here has deteriorated. Those foul gargoyles pollute the sky.
Oh wait, I don't have... Okay, never mind.
The Tyranids have the orbital guns.
They do. These unrelenting attacks make a counteroffensive difficult.
Oh shit.
We shall take care of that.
Oh, I can't sprint. What?
We've got more incoming from the east!
Move to reinforce the eastern flank. You, go with him.
We will assist in the defense.
Very good, my lord.
This is small. I have a power now. What does that do?
We will see about that. I hope you'll keep it score, brother.
Righteous Fury. Enable Fury mode. It increases damage and durability and restores health with melee attacks. Okay, so that's my oh shit button, I guess, when I'm in melee.
Here they come.
For the glory of Ultramar!
It's not blocking. Oh, nice.
My lord! Intelligence reports multiple swarms closing in!
Direct us to them.
Sending coordinates to your Auspex display!
Any ammo? Oh well, it's fine. Ah, there we go. Oh, got some stims.
My lord, we are preparing
one
an
stim.
airstrike. Can you hold the enemy in place until it hits?
Consider it done.
Wait, those are good guys. Being hit by something.
Resupplying. Leave not one of them standing. Reloading weapon. Vermin stuff.
Something's shooting me. Ah, it's up there on the ramparts.
Munitions secure.
Fuck. airstrike incoming, alright. They're fucked.
A direct hit, Major.
The 8th never miss!
I'm impressed with the scenario. You don't get to see many games that make you feel like you're in a real battlefield. Yeah, that's true.
We must proceed through the jungle to reach the orbital defense guns. Brother Lirio, assist the Cadians while they establish new defensive lines, then report back.
Yes, Lieutenant. It will not take long.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
The orbital guns are on the other side of the swamp.
Be alert. The Tyranids will be lying in wait.
Chain sword,
This must be where
bolt
the swarm
pistol,
originated.
These abhorrent
heavy bolt
husks
pistol.
are everywhere. Living organic machines.
Indeed.
Wait,
Their ships, these pods, all of it.
yeah, I want the
Their very
chain sword.
existence is heresy.
And then,
We shall thin their numbers today, brother.
what am I using right now? I already have a bolt pistol. Why don't we use the heavy bolt
A
pistol?
fine gift from the forge.
Okay, we got an upgrade there. I think it's an upgrade. Heavy usually implies upgrade. Hey, Chin-Chow. Ooh, fuck. Got a
Bravo.
burrowing creature.
Do not stop moving.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that. Fuck. Oh my god.
They never learn.
I think it's so annoying.
One less traveler. Resupplying. Frag grenade deployed. Vomiting stomach. Changing magazine.
I expect better of the Cadians. Losing the orbital guns was costly.
They paid for it dear. But the enemy numbers are not insignificant.
The Cadian 8th will have to do better.
You're familiar with this foe, brother?
I am.
How do the Tyranids compare
Right
to
here.
other Xenos?
We need to see what's
They
up
are
with
an
the
unrelenting plague. But they
Ah,
are
look.
cunning.
We
The
found
controlling
some
influence
ammo.
of their hive mind makes
Wait,
them act
I already
as
have that
one.
though. Yeah, I already have a heavy bolt pistol. I have two? No. Huh. Weird.
Tread carefully. The spores detonate when threats draw near.
Then let us take the advantage and destroy them.
Okay. Oh, they're homing too. That's not great.
Which company did you serve with before this one?
I served the Emperor elsewhere.
The Death Watch.
Yes.
I hope I too will share that honor one day.
Reloading weapon. Eliminate them, then proceed. Reload. War Gear Prime.
Bastard shooting me from somewhere. There he is.
Reload.
I can kill him. What is that?
The tunneling Xenos is dead.
Is there any loot up here? Oh, there is something up here. Wow, there's a lot of stuff up here. Frag
Grabbing
grenades.
equipment.
Bolt rifle with grenade launcher. Whoa.
They will
Let's swap
not
that
get
out then.
past this. Restocking.
Alright. Frag grenades. Can I carry? No, I can't carry anymore. How do I fire grenades with this? They're just playing an alt fire, right? I have to like scroll down maybe.
The most direct route is through the swamp. Let us proceed.
No. The swamp will be infested with Xenos. There is a bunker straddling the riverbed. We will cut through there.
But that will add considerable time. Surely we...
We will not trade strategy for expediency.
As you command.
Over here.
Lieutenant, Captain Akaran has given us new orders.
Oh,
You must proceed
Stalker bolt rifle. Scope high
Understood.
power
Thank you,
semi-automatic.
Ariel.
I want that.
alone. See you on the Resilient.
Wait, that has 12 shots though. Chainsword. Ooh, wow, look at that. Okay. Ah, my position. There isn't really anything strong enough to me to warrant using this. Maybe I can swap it out for the pistol instead. Let's go back and swap out the bolt pistol for the rifle.
Very good.
Oh wait, no. Okay. I only have one rifle, I can't use 2 rifles.
There they are. The orbital guns.
Oh, good shot. Ow.
Changing magazine.
God. Oh, someone's hitting me from there. Ow. Jesus. Oh, it's like there's a bunch of little sniper dudes over there. What's this hitting me? Kind of hearted. Right there. Kinda. There we go.
Frag grenade out. I think that one was half-baked. Resupplying.
Nice. Got my ammo.
Restocking.
Reloading weapon!
I have to get my health back. I could use a stim here, but I think I'll go use my ult instead. Health back that way.
Munitions secured.
There we go.
Sir! I can hear reinforcements!
Oops. Shit. How fast is the ult recharge? Does it recharge on kill? Because it looks like it's not recharging right now. Is there anything over here that I missed? Bolt rifle. How come they just give you like duplicates? Items. What is this? Bolt carbine. Mid-range carbine with extremely rapid fire. Nah, I want to be a sniper. Oh, that's a good base. Okay.
Angels! We're saved!
Maybe over here? Medical stims. Oh, am I like out of room? Use one. There we go.
Oi, shut it. We're with the Emperor's angels now.
You will desert your
Oh
post,
gosh.
Guardsman.
He's taking all the supplies.
Never!
We've locked them in. We can do no more.
Open the gate.
Yes, my lord.
Anything over here?
Open the gates! But sir, you said open the bloody gates!
Heavy bolter. Whoa, what is that? Fully automatic heavy weapon. Fire rate accelerates over time. Damn. That could be fun to play around with.
This will serve me well.
Maybe. We'll try this. We'll try the heavy bolter.
We can't open.
Okay, here they come.
You will serve your emperor, soldier.
Into position, men.
Do not let them surround you.
What are they doing?
Trying to get up here. Take them down.
I'm sorry for the fire. Fuck, somebody's hit.
Are you not the Lord Castellan soldiers? Fight, damn you!
Get back, you big bastard!
I need to swap up into the sniper if it's still here. Shoot, it's not here anymore. Take care of the little... There. Up and rock.
Gotcha. Changing magazine.
Oh wait, this is the sniper. Wait, I can have the sniper as well as the heavy bolter.
Honor your whole world.
It's fine, it's fine. I got this. I don't need to use the practice yet. Take care of these shitheads.
Special tactics ready.
I'll use one here.
Stabilizing vitals.
Oh. The ult here.
The gates are open!
Everybody inside, now.
Yes, my lord!
We will eliminate the remains of the swarm. There will always be more. We must focus on taking down the hive ship.
Okay.
Guardsmen, get these gates closed.
Yes, my lord. Transmitting command now. Stand by.
Do not relent in your attacks.
Jesus.
Never seen orcs do that. Makes them easier to kill.
You have yet to see the worst of them.
I look forward to it.
Dang, that was pretty cool. Pretty gory. Lots of gore.
Major Sakana.
Go ahead!
Okay, I gotta get switch over to sculpting now.
Thank you, my lord. I shall give them new orders.
How do I save? I guess this is a checkpoint. Pretty sure this is a checkpoint. Yeah. Well, that was pretty fun. Definitely gonna play through this more. I'm gonna take a short break here, get up and stretch a bit, and I'll be back with some sculpting. Okay, I'm back. Oh, see you, Rogat. Have a nice burger. sounds really good, actually. Maybe I should go get a burger. I'm just gonna go to some stuff and then sculpt. Same thing as usual.
Codename Frontiers. This is one of many blog posts, and originally I thought we were just going to be getting one blog post today. Bungie has dropped 5 on us, so we are going to start reading right now, guys. We're going to be here for quite a bit, so buckle up. Timestamps down below. Let's get started. Paving the way for new frontiers. Today marks the 10-year anniversary of Destiny. We set out in 2014 to do something new and different for our studio. We've conquered the Witness, looted dungeons, ascended to the Lighthouse, and more. Now we look to the future. We're plotting our course to the stars through Codename Frontiers. We closed the door with the final shape, but we are opening a new one, a weird one, an exciting one that takes Destiny to places it has never been before. We're building this future now and are excited to share with you a first glimpse of it today. Oh, all right. So this is straight up a roadmap right here. Okay, Codename Frontiers, Summer 2025 expansion Apollo. This will be the Summer 2025 major update, Codename Arsenal. And then Fall 2025 major update, Codename Surge. Okay, and then also in Winter 2025, we have Behemoth. Winter update, major update, Spring major update. Okay. All right, so hold on. Let me see. Let's look here on the side on the key here. Expansion, new stories, new locations, new missions, new weapons, new gear, new raids, and dungeons. There it is, fellas. We are still going to be getting new raids and new dungeons. Seasonal update, new and reprised activities, new gear and artifact mods, new modifiers and challenges, new sandbox meta, new events, reward paths, exotic weapons ornament, legendary weapons, armor ornaments, gear upgrade resources, cosmetics, and more. Okay. All right. So we're getting 2 expansions per year, but right here, notice here, we've got Codename Arsenal, Codename Surge. So these are going to be like the seasons in the expansions. All right. So we're getting 4 seasons. Which is like what we've had before. And then 2 expansions. What are the size of these expansions, I wonder? All right. Now, this roadmap lays out our plan for year 11 and beyond with some exciting changes to our annual model. 2 expansions per year, 4 major updates of free content every year. Over the next few months, we will be sharing more information with you on Codename Frontiers, which is how we are describing major innovations coming to Destiny over the next few years, starting with our next expansion, Codename Apollo. We have several Dev Inside deep dives going live today, and we'll continue to add more to this list over the weeks and months to come. Today, we also have Tyson Green, the game director for Destiny 2, and Allison Lures, the Destiny 2 narrative director, diving through some of our future plans for Destiny 2. Our goal is to be more transparent in our communication with you. This means sharing our work more frequently, even if you see our mistakes and false starts along the way. So please remember that our roadmap and plans are subject to change as we get deeper into development. Ultimately, this is your game too. We want you to see more of how it is made and why. If you take away nothing else, it should be this. We're excited for Destiny to change and improve in ways that allow it to keep evolving in the future. All right. Dev Inside Deep Dives. Below you will find a list of Dev Inside Deep Dives for various innovations coming with Codename Frontiers. We'll be building upon this section over the next few months with breakdowns of features and changes coming to Destiny. Core game activities, core game rewards, and the portal. We'll be reading those in just a moment. All right, our vision for the future of Destiny 2. So from Tyson Green here. My name is Tyson, and I am the game director for Destiny 2, and I'm excited to speak today about our team's vision for Destiny. First and foremost, we all still love Destiny. It is a unique and challenging game, both for you and for us. I've personally been working on Destiny for 15 years, and it still excites me creatively. There are not many games I could say that about, but at the same time, we recognize that it has become too rigid. Expansions have started to feel too formulaic and are over too quickly with little replay value. Yeah. Seasons and episodes keep getting bigger, but can still feel like you are just going through the motions. Oh my God. We believe it's time for Destiny to change and evolve. And that's our community, and that our community wants this game to grow and innovate. And to do that, we need to start breaking some of the molds. Guys, this is the same guy that was quoted for saying, what was the quote? It was with Jason Jones or one of the guys from Halo, the Halo days, where he was like, he pretty much said something along the lines of, even if it breaks the game, punch it. It was like, even if it's going to break all the code, do it, punch it, innovated. Annual expansions. So we're going to start with annual expansions. We've loved creating annual expansions and are especially proud of the final shape. But the truth is that they dominate almost all of our development effort. We need to free ourselves up to explore and innovate with how we deliver Destiny 2 content so we can invest in areas of the game that will feel more impactful to players. Starting next year, instead of one big expansion, we are going to deliver 2 medium-sized expansions, one every 6 months. Each of these will depart from the one-shot campaign structure we've been using, essentially unchanged since Shadowkeep, and each will be an opportunity to explore exciting new formats instead. We're excited to try new things that challenge your idea of what a Destiny experience can be. We're actively prototyping non-linear campaigns, exploration experiences similar to the Dreaming City or Metrovanius, and even more unusual formats like roguelikes or survival shooters. Each expansion will present a new opportunity to try something different. Departing from one-shot campaigns doesn't mean we are turning away from great storytelling. Going forward, we want to return the mystery and wonder that was woven into the fabric of early Destiny when the story felt ripe with possibilities and an epic sense of exploration and discovery. Great stories are as important as ever in our creative vision, and Allison will touch more on that below. Okay, so first up, let me just say from what I read, Tyson it seems like he's really keyed in on like how the community feels, using terms like formulaic, going through the motions. We were literally just talking about that. Most of us, we get on, we play the season, we do the narrative, we get our seasonal weapons, we get our crafted weapons, and we bounce. Now, it's interesting here that they're breaking up the expansions into these, not in like a big expansion like we would with like Finer Shape, Witch Queen, and Lightfall and whatnot, but doing 2 medium-sized expansions. And I'm curious to see how that's going to work. But it almost seems like right here we're actively prototyping non-linear campaigns. So it's almost like we're gonna be discovering the story. It's not gonna be this, hey, hold my hand, come follow the marker over here, talk to this person, now talk to this holo projector. It almost seems like we're gonna have to like discover things. And the fact that I even mentioned here exploration experiences similar to Dreaming City or Metrovanius, and even more unusual formats like roguelike survival shooters. Again, all of this really boils down to delivery though. Like this sounds good, this intrigues me, this is innovative and different, but it also comes down to how they execute, right? Now, seasons. With the change to 2 expansions per year, our seasonal model will be changing as well. Instead of 3 episodes, we will be building 4 major updates per year, one every 3 months. So literally what we've been getting before. Now, each expansion will launch alongside a major update at the start of a season. And then a second major update will follow 3 months later to refresh the core game with new and reprised content, including activities, strikes, exotic missions, or entirely new modes like Onslaught, rewards, weapons, armor, artifact mods, exotics, and more, new weekly events, new features, combat meta, and balance updates. Now, the big seasonal resets will still happen, but now twice a year alongside the expansions. Okay, now each update will be a substantial refresh of the core game, bringing new activities and reward content. We're also excited to announce that, like Destiny 2 Into the Light, these updates and their content will be free to all players. Oh, so all of this, all the seasonal stuff will be free. You're still gonna have a paid season pass though, right? Okay, so you're still gonna have a season pass, and since we're gonna be getting raids and dungeons, you're still gonna have to buy those. But it seems like what we experience in Into the Light, like the Onslaught activity and all those things will all be free. We want Destiny to be easier for anyone to play or recommend, so we want to remove that major barrier to the experience, which means we need to talk about the core game itself. Now, the core game is Destiny's always available evergreen activity experience, and we need to fix 2 key things with it. Number 1, approachability. First, Destiny is too complex. With literally hundreds of activities, you practically need a PhD to decide what to play and how to get rewards you're looking for. We're going to start to fix this by modernizing our activity UI, the director, to make it easier for everyone to find and launch into great activities. And we're reworking our reward model to make sure that all of those activities offer meaningful rewards. Our deep dives on activities and rewards go into more detail on these changes in particular. Now, gear and challenge should matter. Even great activities stop mattering if the challenge dries up and the rewards aren't worth it. So we're investing in a greatly improved challenge customization system to let players of any skill range find the right challenge level for them, with rewards that improve based on the challenge level you take on. These won't just be a simple incoming damage increase either. The team is cooking up some great gameplay modifiers that give enemies some exciting tools to mix things up on every run. We will have a deep dive coming soon to show off some of these new threats. All right. Now, as for the rewards, there will be higher tiers of the legendary gear. Think adept weapons and artifice armor that will be available from these higher challenge ranges in a much wider variety of activities across both PvE and PvP. Now, these two changes will help the core game experience be easier to drop into and much deeper in terms of variety and pursuit of personal mastery. And they are a starting point for ongoing changes aimed at continuing to improve Destiny in these regards. Okay, so at least from what I'm getting here, in order to give us these higher tier rewards, we're getting harder content. I'm just curious to know like how much harder than like Grandmasters right now and like Master Raids. Then the next multi-year saga starts with Codename Apollo. Oh my god, we're dropping the saga here. Allison Lurs. Hello, I'm Allison and I'm the Destiny 2 narrative director. I'm a fresh face at Bungie, and I started doing narrative direction for seasons in fall 2022, and my first D2 expansion was The Final Shape. We're proud of The Final Shape and the ending we created for the Light and Darkness saga, and we knew that the episodes that followed would act as an epilogue, tying up Light and Dark's hanging threads, but also setting us up for what's next. The episodes close doors and open new ones, purposeful ones, storylines that are set in place to prepare us for what comes next. And what is next in our new saga? Oh, this is completely new artwork. You'll see teases of it in the later 2 episodes and then fully kick off with Codename Apollo. This next saga is also based around a core theme, much like Light and Darkness did. It will introduce plenty of new characters, factions, twists, and more. And there's lots more here, we will say eventually, but we don't want to spoil the journey for you. This will be a multi-year journey, one we can't wait to take you on. Our first expansion, Codename Apollo, is a non-linear, character-driven adventure. All right. Okay, first up, multi-year. Secondly, I don't know what this is. I'm curious to know what this is. But this is obviously a new location. Third, we're getting a non-linear, character-driven adventure. That's interesting. That's different. That's completely different, dude. I hope there's going to be more emphasis on exploration. You know what I'm saying? If we're taking this non-linear, character-driven direction, I hope there's going to be a big emphasis on mystery and exploration. And dude, just run.
There are many words that have echoed across the 40k franchise and have helped to define its very essence. None more so than these. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. Today I wanted to dive deep into the lore of Warhammer and explore the facets of the lore that you'll find in Space Marine 2. And I say facets, but man, Space Marine 2 is one of those games that is absolutely fantastic for representing the lore of 40k. There are a lot of other sources for knowledge on this topic, as I'm sure you know. Be sure to check out your favorite lore channels with 40k in mind. Mine personally is Luton09. But for my part, I wanted to give a broad overview and treat people as though they've never even heard of 40k before. In this video, I intend to provide you with a primer to the universe. So, with that in mind, we'll be talking about the setting, our key factions, including the Imperium, Chaos, and the Tyranids, and of course, the plot of the first Space Marine game, so you're caught up on that as well. There's also a lot of extra stuff to talk about from the second game, but if you're willing to watch another video on that, this video is already going to be long enough, so I'll be making more of those as time goes on. For now though, let's begin explaining the lore of this vast and brutal universe.
Hey Rusty, how's it going?
So first, let's talk about the setting. 40k, as the name implies, is set in the 41st millennium. Well, technically now it's set in the 42nd millennium. Time has progressed such that we're in an era that the new millennium has just started. It's literally just ticked over. Unfortunately, things aren't exactly going great right now for humanity, aka the Imperium of Man. Yes, we've spread out across most of the stars, and we have an empire that covers most of the galaxy, but man, it is a big galaxy and there are a lot of things that want to kill and or eat us. Massive warbands or wars of orcs roam the stars, conquering worlds for plunder in the name of their war bosses like Ghazghul. The long-dead Necrons, immortal machine constructs of terrible technological power, have begun to rise from their tomb worlds, uniting under their overlords and pharaons. And mankind's greatest enemy, the very traitors that left the Imperium of Man in ruin 11,000 years ago, after the betrayal of the Horus Heresy, have split the galaxy asunder. The forces of chaos have expanded out from the Eye of Terror and have created the Great Rift, the Cicatrix Maledictum, cutting the galaxy in half and leaving half of the Imperium cut off from the light of the Astronomicon, making space travel incredibly dangerous and unreliable, leaving many worlds ripe for the slaughter. It all sounds completely mad, and that's because, well, yeah, it is. Warhammer 40k is all about scale. Scale on the maddest of degrees. This is the peak of possible grimdark. In any typical planetary or system conflict within 40k, it is not unusual for casualties to range between the billions and trillions, depending on where the conflict is taking place and who's involved. And the scale of the destruction is absolutely unbelievable until you see it. You know, there's that phrase of turning things up to 11? Well, 40k appropriately turns it up to 1100. For perhaps the best example of this, just take a brief look at a Space Marine themselves and compare them to a normal-sized human. Space Marines are commonly about 7 or 8 foot tall and are armored head to toe in ceramite suits of armor plating that are just about as durable as some tanks. They're genetically enhanced super soldiers with extra organs including a second heart, and they contain some of the genetic material created by the God Emperor of mankind himself. They fire bolters, which are not your typical machine gun. In fact, don't you dare even make such a heretical comparison. Bolters fire a variety of rocket-propelled, armor-piercing munitions that detonate like grenades inside their targets. Being a normal human and shooting some calibers of bolter without proper training and assistance can lead to a shattered arm. And as for when they get into melee, well, they have this. God bless the chainsword and its biting righteous teeth, that they may scour the enemy's offending limbs from their heretical bodies. Space Marines are just one example of the absolutely insane scale of the 40k universe, and it's this scale that really helps to define it. When normal humans in the Imperial Guard or Astra Militarum go to war, they get sent in the millions or billions to battle. They're often armed with little more than a single lasgun, and that's it. And as for the lifespan of some of these guardsmen, well, it's a commonly cited possibility that in some conflicts, members of the Imperial Guard on the front line have a life expectancy of around 15 or so hours. And when they die in their millions and billions, they are not even remembered. They are just a footnote. They do not matter. If you're ever wondering why something in 40k is that way, sometimes the answer is simply scale. Again, the conflicts are magnificently brutal, and it's not just mankind taking part in all of these. On a typical battlefield of gargantuan scale, the orcs might make a 50-foot-tall gargant scrap construct. But it's okay, because humanity may well have deployed a few Titan legions to contest them. I could go on, but hopefully you get the picture. Whatever you're imagining, imagine more of it, and bigger, and more brutal. So with that in mind, if you're going to understand Space Marine 2 and the world of 40k that you're going to step into, we should start talking about our core factions. And that means we need to start with the one that you will be fighting for, the Imperium of Man. Human history in 40k is a long and tragic affair. Now, almost all of humanity lives under the Imperium of Man in the 42nd millennium, a great fascist superstate that rules the stars with an iron fist, and with a great degree of inefficiency. It is a rotting, wasting remnant of humanity's greatness that has long since faded, but still holds the torchlight of humanity against all the horrors of the stars. There is a lot to talk about when it comes to recounting humanity's history before the time of the Imperium and in the lead up to where we are now, and I am not going to go over all of it, even though this video is going to run quite long. If you want more detail, I highly recommend Luton's Emperor of Mankind lore videos. He really helps to set the stage, and his commitment to detail is something that I aspire to live up to. But for the sake of brevity here, I'm not going to go in as much detail as he would. I just want to give you the primer, and as a result, we're going to be covering the broad strokes of things. For the first several thousand years, humanity would technologically ascend past the heights that we reached here in the 21st century, and would begin to colonize the galaxy. This was slow at first until the discovery of warp travel, which allows ships to reach their destination faster by passing through the immaterium, or the warp. The warp is a bad place. Don't go there. It's space hell on steroids, and it's ruled by the dark gods of chaos. We'll get onto those in a bit. When humanity first went out into the stars, warp travel was dangerous, but was still feasible. And for many millennium, it was a reliable way to get around the galaxy. But then, thanks to the actions of the Eldari and the birth of a certain fourth chaos god of all things demonetized in the 25th millennium, the warp became volatile, and great warp storms ravaged the galaxy, including all of humanity's empire. This made warp travel and warp communication much less reliable and much more dangerous, and this would be the start of massive problems for humanity. A near-apocalyptic situation had suddenly emerged, because all of their empire was connected by either warp travel or warp communication. Worlds like Earth, or Terra as it's known in Warhammer, were completely dependent on imported resources. Without the ability to trade and travel through the warp, humanity was quickly set ablaze. These events would lead to a complete societal collapse for humanity, and all of its various planets would fall out of contact with each other. Whilst some colonies were self-sufficient and would prosper in lucky isolation, most worlds devolved into barbarism. On Earth, great techno-barbarian leaders rose to conquer the once mighty capital of humanity. It was left in utter ruins. Humanity could not have been weaker at this moment in time, but from the ashes of human civilization stepped a figure from the shadows, knowing that now was the time to act. For many millennia, he had been silently watching humanity and waiting. He would come to be known as the Emperor of Mankind, a remarkably tall man with a presence that commanded respect and loyalty from those around him. He was supremely skilled in the ways of combat and science, and was a remarkably powerful psyker, one of those who had been blessed with psychic powers. The Emperor sought to take his place as the master of mankind, and to do so he would first need to reunite Terra, then Sol, then the rest of the galaxy. And eventually, he would do just that. Once Terra had been made secure and was truly his dominion, he reached out to the survivors of Mars, the so-called Cult Mechanicum, who would one day be known as the Adeptus Mechanicus, a human faction that had fled underground and turned to machines for their salvation. They would bind machines to their flesh and embrace the certainty of steel so that they might survive. What started perhaps as pragmatism quickly developed into dogma, and then into faith. They began to believe in the divinity of the machine, and that there was a machine god, an intrinsic force of logic and knowledge within the universe. The physical avatar of this machine god is known as the Omnissiah, and after arriving on Mars, many of the Mechanicum's tech priests looked up to the Emperor and thought that he was the Omnissiah. Using this to his political advantage and demonstrating his supreme scientific prowess, the Emperor went to the Martian Parliament on Olympus Mons, and along with the leading magi of the Mechanicum signed the Treaty of Mars. This would forge an official alliance between the Mechanicum of Mars and the newly born Imperium of Man. And the Emperor was going to need them too, because he'd need technology and great foundries for what came next. In secret, the Emperor had created the plans for 20 legions of incredible warriors that would be mankind's shield and sword in the times ahead. They were the Adeptus Astartes, the Emperor's Angels of Death, the Space Marine Legions. They were genetically engineered super soldiers, and each of them was led by a Primarch. Each of these Primarchs was created using some of the Emperor's own DNA, and each had been designed by him to excel at certain traits above others. Whilst the Primarch Magnus would have superior psychic powers, the Primarch Angron would inherit martial prowess and ferocity. Each of these 20 Primarchs would lead one of the 20 Space Marine Legions, and each of the Legion's genetic material was taken directly from each Primarch. This would be the army that the Emperor would use to reunite humanity, either by force of will or force of arms. But before he could finish his project, there were interlopers. The gods of chaos intervened. The exact reasons for their intervention is not well understood or documented, and is the subject of much rumor and debate, but the result of the intervention was all the same. The Emperor's sons, his Primarchs, his philosopher generals that were meant to lead his legions, were scattered across the galaxy. This was a terrible blow to the Emperor's plans, but they were still unchanged. The Emperor would embark with his 20 legions of Space Marines upon what was known as the Great Crusade. Originally, it had simply been meant to reunite Terra and her lost colonies under a single rule by the Emperor of Mankind. But with his lost Primarch sons, there was now a second objective. He would need to find them all and reunite them with their legions. And in time, he would find every last one of them. Lionel Johnson, Fulgrim, Perturabo, Leman Russ, Rogel Dawn, Conrad Kurz, Sanguinius, Ferrus Manus, Angron, Robuta Gilliman, Mortarion, Magnus the Red, Lorgar, Vulcan, Corvus Corax, Alfarius, Omegon, the two unknown Primarchs, and of course, his future War Master, Horus Lupercal. It was the Emperor's intention that one day Horus would take his place as the one leading the Great Crusade, and when the responsibility was passed to Horus late in the days of the Crusade, the title of War Master would be formally bestowed upon him as the Emperor returned to Terra to work in secret on a research project that would change the fates of all humanity if it was to be successful. The project was webway travel. Beneath the Golden Throne on Terra, the Emperor was establishing a link to the old Eldari webway system, a series of interdimensional passageways that allowed travel between the stars without the use of the dangerous warp. It was far safer and far faster. This would have been the Emperor's greatest gift to mankind, a bright and prosperous future without the threat of extinction due to the Immaterium's instability. Had the Emperor's vision panned out, and had he achieved his goals, mankind would have grasped dominion over all the stars. But unfortunately, the Emperor, and all of mankind, was betrayed from within. Through the machinations of the Dark Gods and their tainted puppets within the ranks of the Space Marine Legions, corruption began to spread, first to the Marines, and then in time to their Primarchs. Worst of all, Horus Lupercal was amongst them. As a supreme strategist, Horus was a powerful leader, but as the ruling champion of the four Chaos Gods, Khorne, Nurgle, Tzeentch, and Slaanesh, he would become one of the most powerful entities in the universe, capable of potentially rivaling the Emperor himself. Quietly, and without much warning, a split was beginning to form within the Space Marine Legions. Horus would gather those Primarchs who were either opposed to the Emperor in some manner or who were corrupted by chaos to his side. This led to the legions of the Sons of Horus, Iron Warriors, Alpha Legion, Wordbearers, Death Guard, World Eaters, Night Lords, and Emperor's Children all turning traitor, as well as the Rubric Marines of the Thousand Suns Legion, who would later join on account of trickery by the Chaos God Tzeentch. Many of the traitor Primarchs would eventually ascend into demon princes, even if they had not originally held treacherous intent. But regardless of what their fates might be later on, those fates were sealed on the planets of Istvan III and Istvan V, with the death of the Loyalists within their own legions, and then an outright massacre of Loyalist legions such as Vulcan's Salamanders and Ferrus Manus's Iron Hands. With these two terrible actions, the moment of peace was over. The Horus Heresy would begin. The Horus Heresy is one of the most important events in all of mankind's history, and would go on for 9 years, ending in the Siege of Terra itself. Horus and the Emperor would face each other in a battle within Horus's flagship, the Vengeful Spirit. In the battle, at first, it seemed like Horus Lupercal would be victorious, for even as the arch-traitor dealt grievous wounds to the Emperor of Mankind, the Emperor could not bring himself to strike Horus down. Such was his love for his son. The circumstances that changed this are shrouded in a little mystery. Seemingly, though, because of a brutal action committed by Horus, the Emperor saw that there was no saving him from the corruption of chaos. The Emperor's body was broken and ruined, but using his incredible psychic power, he was able to destroy Horus so utterly that the arch-traitor's very essence and soul was burned away in psychic fire, meaning that even the Chaos Gods could not resurrect him as a demon prince or claim his soul for his service. Horus was defeated, and with the death of the War Master, the traitor legions were sent reeling, and the Loyalist forces rallied, winning the day. But the victory was won at a staggering cost. The Imperium, over 9 years of war, had been left in ruins. Thousands of Space Marines had died or turned traitor. Every facet of the Imperium's military, from the great fleets of the Imperial Navy to the men of the Astra Militarum to the Titan legions of the Adeptus Mechanicus, lay shattered by the heresy. The Primarch Sanguinius had laid down his life facing Horus before the Emperor could reach him, and the Emperor himself was barely recognizable as a man anymore. He was still alive, but was more of a corpse. In the aftermath of his titanic battle against Horus, the Emperor was rushed to the Imperial Palace by his custodian guard and his son Rogel Dawn, Terra's great defender and the Primarch of the Imperial Fists. From here, on the Golden Throne, the Emperor's spirit could be maintained, and his psychic power could continue to light the beacon of the Astronomicon across the Imperium, allowing Imperial navigators to still make their way through the warp correctly by using the Lighthouse of Terra as a guidepost. But even this had a cost. The Emperor's soul needed to be sustained, and so every day, to maintain the Emperor's spirit and the Astronomicon itself, 1,000 human psychers, those blessed with psychic potential, had to be sacrificed to the Golden Throne. In such circumstances, Imperial society began to fester and decay, much like the Emperor's body. In time, a new change would come across the Imperium of Man. In the time when the Emperor had sought to reunite humanity, the Imperial truth reigned supreme, a declaration that there was no god and that mankind's empire would be secular in nature. The only individuals granted an exception to this were the Cult Mechanicum of Mars, and their belief in the Omnissiah was, for a time, the only thing close to religion that existed within mankind as an entire civilization. But in the aftermath of the Horus Heresy, this imperial truth would fade. Slowly, worship of the Emperor would begin to flourish. This has expanded in such a fashion that 11,000 years after his wounding at the Siege of Terra, the Emperor of Mankind is now referred to as the God Emperor of Mankind, and institutions such as the Ecclesiarchy have enforced this idea as a state religion. It permeates through all facets of society, and a disbelief in the God Emperor of Mankind is now seen as heresy, something punishable by death. Where before humanity was primed to return to galactic and technological dominance, now, in the 42nd millennium, they are a superstitious and dogmatic people, ruled by the iron fist of faith in the God Emperor. What's even more remarkable about this, though, is that thanks to the belief of the trillions upon trillions upon trillions of individuals throughout the Imperium in the God Emperor of mankind, the Emperor has indeed become something of a god within the warp. He is not a chaos god, but his psychic presence within the warp and some small proof of something reaching divinity can be seen. This divinity is known to manifest upon some of mankind's greatest battlefields in its most dire conflicts. The living saints of the Adeptus Sororitas and the Ecclesiarchy are but one great example of this. But this was but one of the many changes to the Imperium that followed the Horus Heresy. The other was the complete reorganization of the military structures of the Imperium itself, including the Space Marine legions. And it's here that the Ultramarines' Primarch, Robuta Guilliman, comes into focus. He was seen as the prime successor to the Emperor of Mankind, with Horus and Sanguinius both dead. He made his assessments and declared that part of what created the Horus Heresy was the vast nature of the Astartes legions. If a single legion of Space Marines turned against the Imperium, there could be as many as 100,000 Marines turning traitor at once. To combat this, Robuta Guilliman proposed a new measure within a great doctrine that he wrote, called the Codex Astartes. As well as a primer and tactical guide for the Astartes Marines, it would also mandate that the legions should be broken up into chapters, where legions previously could be numberless if they grew fast enough, and even reached as many as 250,000. These new chapters would never contain more than 1,000 men each, and thus even if a chapter fell to chaos, it would not be a rebellion on the scale of the heresy. The other remaining Primarchs, such as Rogel Dorn and Leman Russ, looked disdainfully upon such an idea, but begrudgingly, they would all agree to it, even if some kept relics of their old legion structure, more so than others. And so it was that the legions were broken up, and the chapters were founded. And so here we are, 11,000 years later, with the Imperium under perpetual threat, a new age of chaos rising, and more darkness than ever pressing in around the Imperium. Before we move on though, there are probably a few things I should explain about the way things work in the Imperium generally. Two things in particular. The first is the Inquisition, and the second is just about planets generally. The Inquisition is an independent and autonomous branch of governance within the Imperium. The authority of the Inquisition supersedes that of anyone in the Imperium except other higher-stationed Inquisitor members and the Emperor himself. As an organization, the Inquisition only answers to the Emperor. And they are exactly what they sound like. They were created in response to the Horus Heresy by one of the Emperor's closest confidants, Malcador the Sigillite. And their objective is to root out heresy wherever they find it in the Imperium and maintain the purity of mankind at any cost. And I really do mean at any cost. If the Inquisition suspects anyone of heresy, they have the authority to execute them on the spot without any questions being asked. They can conscript any member of the Imperium into their service, from the lowliest of peasants on a feudal world to a planetary or sector governor that may be responsible for the fate of billions of lives. Everyone, even the Adeptus Astartes, the Space Marines themselves, has to answer to the authority of the Inquisition. There are many branches or ordos to the Inquisition that each specialize in their own selective tasks, but the three most significant ordos are the Ordo Xenos, Ordo Hereticus, and Ordo Malleus. All three of them are going to be somewhat relevant to our story today, with the Ordo Malleus concerning itself with the forces of the Warp, Chaos, and Demons, who will definitely play a part in our story. The Ordo Hereticus doing exactly as their name suggests, rooting out heretics and witches in all places within the Imperium of Man, maintaining the faith in the Emperor. And the Ordo Xenos, who are concerned with the expansion of dangerous alien or Xenos threats throughout the Imperium of Man, and who are also responsible for the Death Watch, a collection of veteran Space Marines whose kill teams are responsible for responding to these dangerous alien forces. The second note to be made about the Imperium of Man is more of a contextual thing, and it's about the planets within the Imperium. It should be no surprise that a hyper-advanced civilization that has been rebuilt from ruins has developed a bunch of specialized worlds to suit their needs. But for the Imperium of Man, it's a whole other extreme. Worlds are classified according to their purpose, and their purpose occupies everything of what they are. Hive worlds are stripped barren save for their great hive cities, where billions of individuals can live stacked one on top of each other, ready to work in some menial task or to be conscripted as guardsmen for the Astra Militarum. These are the grinding, attritional lifeblood centers of humanity, where as many as billions of individuals can be found within a single hive city. Forge worlds are predominantly maintained by the Adeptus Mechanicus and are entirely dedicated to the production of technology and equipment for the Imperium of Man, from the most basic of las pistols to the most advanced of titans. They are the factories of the Imperium, belching out smoke and machines of war day and night without relent. Grave worlds are where the Imperium of Man buries its honored dead, with few residing on the world save for those that tend the graves and those that lie within them. Whilst some worlds like hive worlds are reserved for trillions of those who live upon them, grave worlds are reserved for trillions of dead who lie at rest. Fortress worlds are impregnable bastions of the Imperium, which will only fold and falter under the most extreme of duress. Some fortress worlds, like the now destroyed planet of Cadia, have become so famous as to make their equipment and tactical doctrines, and even their soldiers, commonplace across the Imperium at large. When the Imperium claims a planet, they go on to give it a designation and thus a function. So if you see the towering spires at the apex of a hive world, or the endless tombstones of a grave world, or the vast foundries of a forge world, don't be surprised. These are the mechanisms of a galactic human state whose agenda can be summarized by a single word: war. And there is certainly war to be found in the dark future of the 42nd millennium. And whilst the Imperium is spreading its forces across many wars and many battlefields, there is one looming war and threat that is seemingly more pressing than any other in the galaxy. They are the unending swarm, the bane of worlds from Tyran to Macragge, the Great Devourer, the Tyranids. To describe the Tyranids is to chart out the darkest possible answer to the Fermi paradox, one where all life in the galaxy has been snuffed out because something else has consumed it all. Named after the first Imperial planet that they consumed, the Tyranid hive fleets are a force unlike anything else seen in the galaxy. They have no technology, so to speak of, and are an entirely biological force, one whose greatest weapons are their adaptability and power of their own evolution and genetics. This advantage of genetics and evolution is so extreme that it outpaces cutting-edge technologies deployed against the hive fleets with alarming speed and effectiveness. To put it simply, if you start bringing explosive ordnance, the Tyranids will evolve harder chitinous armor or burrowing claws so they can pass through the earth to avoid your weapons fire. If you develop stronger armor in return, they will evolve sharper teeth and stronger jaws to rip through it. No matter what the technology, no matter what the tactic, when it's deployed against the Tyranids, it won't take long for them to develop a countermeasure. That is the power of the hive fleets. Describing the Tyranids genetically is a hard task. On initial observation, the hive fleets look like a great assembly of Xenos from separate species that share some similar traits. Some huge and armored, some small and nimble. But all of these organisms are Tyranids. They are just different morphs of Tyranids. Even their great hive fleet vessels are simply monstrous living entities that are still Tyranids. They're just large enough to give even the greatest vessels of the Imperial Navy pause for thought. All Tyranids are formed in response to the environment presented to them, but not all organisms are the same. If found alone in a vacuum and separated from their hive fleets, the smaller creatures, such as the Hormagaunts and Termagants, are mostly just drone-like animals with minimal intelligence, but larger swarm creatures, from warriors to raveners to zoanthropes and so on, are key to holding the whole swarm together. This is because of the binding synaptic link, the psychic fabric that ties the whole of the Tyranid swarm as one. Killing these stronger synapse creatures will destabilize those weaker creatures around them. Conversely, the ferocity and strength of a Tyranid force is far greater when they are led by such synapse creatures. Follow this psychic link up the chain, and eventually you'll reach the most powerful Tyranid bioforms, including the Hive Tyrant, which is the closest thing that the Tyranids have to a battlefield commander. Should a Hive Tyrant fall in battle, a crippling psychic wave will pass out from it, destroying the cohesion of the Tyranids for miles around. Needless to say, the elimination of Hive Tyrants is a crucial objective when facing the Tyranids. But sadly, such endeavors can only bear fruit so many times before they ultimately become pointless. There are two reasons for this. The first is that as far as the tactics of a Hive Tyrant are concerned, they will be remembered across death. If one is destroyed, the swarm's Norn Queens will quickly reconstitute it, and it will have remembered how it died. It will have learned from the battlefield. It will remember the tactics that put it to the sword. This means that a Hive Tyrant can return and will be even more ferocious and capable of destroying those that face it once again. But the second reason for this is a far simpler and far more terrifying reason. The Tyranids do not care for losses on the battlefield. If they need to throw the entirety of their force against a bastion to take it, even with extreme casualties, they will do exactly that. Even if they achieve victory by only a single warrior or gaunt, they will have won, and that is what's important. Because for the Tyranids, losses like this are of little consequence. This is because of the extraordinary life cycle and greater function of the Hive fleets, which revolves with little exception around a single goal: hunger. The consumption of biomass. When a Tyranid Hive fleet attacks a world, they will overwhelm its defenders until they are victorious, and then they will systematically harvest the planet until it is barren. To make this absolutely clear, when I mean harvest, I don't mean kill all living things and then leave. The Tyranids are not here for meat, they are here for biomass. Sapient species, microbial life, native fauna and flora, useful chemical compounds, everything. The forests of an arboreal world will be consumed root and trunk. The oceans of a water world will be drained till their last, deepest drops. After the invasion of a world by the Tyranids is completed, the process of consumption begins thanks to smaller Tyranid creatures like Rippers. They will deliver all useful material back to the Hive Fleet's massive capillary towers that feed their great Hive Fleet vessels. This includes any dead Tyranids, who are unceremoniously returned to the Hive, melted down, and reformed. No biomass is lost, and so even if victory is attained by a single Tyranid bioform, it is already over. The swarm has won, and their strength has not truly been depleted. All this biomass that's returned to the Hive will then be extracted, and then can be used in the next invasion, where more Tyranid bioforms can be reformed from the dead. When the Tyranids leave a world behind in their passing, all that is left is a rock hollow of life and devoid of any promise or hope. Such is the utter brutality and total nature of their victory. Not a whisper of their defeated foes will remain when the Tyranids are done consuming a world. Only silence, and nothing more. This is why they are known as the Great Devourer, for it is not simply a single planet that they thirst for. Their hunger is unending, and given the chance, they will consume the entire galaxy to feed their ravenous fleets. Responding to Tyranid Hive fleets is no small task either, not merely because of the ferocity of the Tyranids themselves, but also for the isolating effects that the Tyranids bring with them. A consequence of their massive hive mind is an effect on the immaterium known as the Shadow in the Warp. The sheer number of Tyranid bioforms within a given system and the massive nature of their hive mind disrupts the very fabric of the immaterium itself, blocking any with psychic abilities from connecting to it with any degree of efficacy. For the Imperium of Man, this is a terrifying ability to contest, because they use psychers such as astropaths for communication, and navigators for transit through the warp. This means that once a hive fleet has chosen its target and established its presence properly, a world is effectively isolated from the rest of the galaxy. For those finding themselves in the midst of a full-scale Tyranid invasion, there is no escape, and there will be no reinforcements. They will have to face the unending swarm alone. One of the primary foes you face in Space Marine 2 is a splinter of a Tyranid hive fleet, meaning that they're not even at full strength and are somewhat separated, but they are ferocious adversaries nonetheless. Worse still, a splinter from a hive fleet means that the main invading body might not be too far behind, and a fully fledged hive fleet taking notice of a world spells its almost certain doom, for the numbers of the Tyranids within a true hive fleet are practically endless. Such is the nature of the hive fleet's advance. It is unstoppable, it is ceaseless, it is ravenous, and they are legion. Many Tyranid hive fleets have infiltrated our galaxy from different points on the periphery of the Milky Way, and though each hive fleet has shown its own unique genetic modifications, there is a great fear amongst Imperial strategists that the hive fleets we have seen now are merely the first exploratory tendrils reaching up into the galaxy from something greater. For it may be the case that the exact scale of the hive fleets remains unknown. Some hive fleet arms like Behemoth have been effectively stopped in their tracks at great cost, but every decade more hive fleets appear from other directions. Most menacing of all is Hive Fleet Leviathan, which is breaching the galaxy from beneath the galactic plane in multiple locations. This has left one simple, grim conclusion for Imperial planners to contemplate. The galaxy may be surrounded, and whenever you look up to the stars, the hungry eyes of the Tyranids may well be staring back. This threat, this existential terror, is perhaps best presented with this image, and shows perhaps the enormity of the swarm that lies beyond the edge of the galaxy. Many have tried to oppose the Tyranids, and even though individual campaigns might be successful, there is one certainty: there will almost always be more of them. But astoundingly, such an existential threat from the stars without, despite being of utmost concern to the Imperium, is not considered the greatest threat to its citizens. There are those threats that reside within. Most insidious of all is the corrupting influence of chaos. We've already mentioned chaos and the chaos gods in passing thanks to the recounting of the Horus heresy that we just did, but we also need to account for the fact that the forces of chaos are not solely forces of humanity that have been corrupted by entities beyond the stars. The forces of chaos originate primarily from the warp, and are also made up of hosts of corrupted cultists and demons. But what is a demon technically, and what is the warp? Well, I explained earlier that the warp is kind of like space hell on steroids, but that doesn't truly sell the reality of it. So, let's explain the Chaos Gods and the Immaterium. When the universe of 40K was young, the Immaterium and the warp were also relatively calm and empty. The warp, in many ways, was a little bit like a psychic reflection of the material world. But whenever beings with souls were born into the material universe, there would be consequences in the Immaterium as well. As beings with souls existed and experienced life in all its fashions, their emotions and psychic experiences resonated with the warp, leaving impressions upon it. At first, perhaps there was a balance, some positive and much negative. But negative emotions are the strongest, and within a place such as the warp, such emotions quickly would have boiled over. With enough impressions left on the warp, it would become more and more chaotic, and eventually the most powerful concentrations of psychic power and energy would coalesce into beings of terrible grandeur. These are the gods of chaos. There are 4 of them within the greater pantheon. The almighty Khorne, the blood god who sits upon the skull throne, who is empowered by violence, rage, and war. Grandfather Nurgle, the god of plague and pestilence, who is empowered by the very state of entropy as well as disease, decay, and despair. The Changer of Ways, Tzeentch, the great trickster god who is empowered by ambition, schemes, knowledge, and sorcery. And the latest chaos god to join the pantheon, the profane dark prince of excess, Slaanesh, who is empowered by pain, pleasure, hedonism, and perfectionism. Each of these 4 chaos gods can choose to separate with a small portion of their essence to create a being that is lesser than themselves. This is how a demon is created. Within each demon that one might face in battle, there is a reflection of the chaos god that created it. Demons of Khorne, such as Bloodthirsters and Bloodletters, are ferocious martial combatants with blood-red skin and a desire for direct confrontation that boils into ferocity with ease. Demons of Tzeentch, on the other hand, such as Lords of Change and Chaos Horrors, tend to be twisted, freakish abominations with a greater aptitude for magic that will often deceive their enemies to make slaying them easier. Demonhood is not just something that happens normally within the Warp. It is something seen as a gift that the Dark Gods can bestow upon their chosen champions. Some who embrace the touch of the ruinous powers are simply warped into abominations and succumb to their mutations and madness. But for their most powerful servants, the Chaos Gods will grant the boon of ascension into a demon prince. These blighted individuals have given up their souls in return for life everlasting and power beyond the wildest imaginings of even their most tainted brethren. But acquiring such a boon is no small feat. To gain the attention of the Dark Gods is the aspiration of every Chaos Lord and Sorcerer, and doing so requires the burning of whole planets and stars, or the acquisition of a singular power that is of specific interest to the gods of the Warp. And speaking of a singular power that can draw the attention of these Chaos Gods, I think it's about high time that we go over the plot of the first Space Marine game so that you're all caught up on that. In both the first and second Space Marine games, you play as Titus, a high-ranking Space Marine and member of the Ultramarines chapter. They're historically significant, as they are the direct successor and remnant of the Ultramarines Legion, meaning that they're one of the oldest and most powerful Space Marine chapters in the Imperium. Their Primarch, Robuta Guilliman, has ascended to the rank of War Master, and is one of the only remaining sons of the Emperor who still lives. He has ascended beyond their ranks to command the whole of the Imperium at large. The chapter that bears his old legion's namesake is instead now commanded by one of his greatest warriors, Chapter Master Manius Calgar, a peerless warrior who has fought the Tyranids and the forces of Chaos before. As it was Primarch Robuta Guilliman who wrote the Codex Astartes, the Ultramarines in particular hold it in especially high regard, and are often unswerving when it comes to their conformity to its doctrines. However, as captain of the Ultramarines, Demetrian Titus was one to play somewhat looser with his interpretation of the Codex and its doctrines. His story for us began with the distant Forge world of Graia. Within the bowels of this steel world were foundries that produced some of the Imperium of man's greatest war machines, the mighty Warlord-class Titans. Unfortunately, the facilities on Graia had drawn the eyes of ravenous looters. They were being assaulted by the Orc War of a boss known as Grimskull, and they sought to take the planet's loot and scrap for themselves. There were many options that the Imperium could have used to respond to this invading war. One such option might have been orbital bombardment, but the Titan facilities were of critical importance and could not be damaged. For the same reason, the act of utterly destroying the world entirely, exterminatus, was also ruled out. The Titan facilities had to be held at all costs, and so the Ultramarines' second company was deployed to retake the world from the Orcs. Titus would personally lead a squad of 2 other Ultramarines, Sergeant Sidonus and Battle Brother Leandros. Plummeting through the debris of broken Imperial ships and Orc vessels, they would eventually make planetfall and push to secure the Titan manufactorums. But along the way they encountered something unexpected. A servo skull, bearing the markings of the Inquisition. As the Inquisition holds authority above even the Astartes, the Space Marines were bound to listen to the message of the skull. It showed them a transmission sent out from one Inquisitor Drogon. His request was urgent, and he was clearly under duress at Manufactorum Ajakis. Drogon stated that there was an experimental device of some sort. His orders were to keep the device out of enemy hands at all cost. He also made mention of a weapon that was nearly complete. After recovering Drogon in the Manufactorum, Titus and his squadron were informed that the device was a power source, one that was at the time powering the entire Titan Manufactorum. It was, however, unstable, and so Titus and his squad would need to immediately retrieve it to keep it out of the hands of the Orc warboss, who was hot in pursuit. Failure to do so could mean that the planet itself would be cracked in half. Strangely, when they met Inquisitor Drogon, the squad noticed that he had clearly been injured. There was a massive gash or two across his chest that had burned down through his armor into his skin. At the time being, it appeared that this was the result of Orc invaders, and that Drogon had barely survived his encounter. He was only able to still stand thanks to his psychic abilities, which he was using to staunch the flow of blood and keep himself alive. Such injuries at first were notable, but didn't spark too much suspicion. Captain Titus eventually made his way down to the power source and retrieved it, but removing the device from its housing sent the entire facility crashing down around him. The device seemed to radiate a baleful sort of energy, but Titus was somehow able to survive his interaction with the device, containing it and escaping. Upon rendezvousing once again with his squadron and Drogon, the Inquisitor confirmed that the power source had resonated with the warp, energies of the realm of chaos itself. He expressed a remarkable degree of interest in Titus's ability to resist the warp. Upon mentioning the realm of chaos, the reaction from Titus's squad was severe, as one might expect, with Leandros in particular reacting with the same kind of harsh zeal that is typical of the Imperium's faithful. As Leandros called him a heretic, Drogon quickly retorted to the accusation, saying that his work was officially sanctioned by the Imperium. As an Inquisitor, Drogon's word on the matter would be final, but the suspicions of the entire squad would be piqued from now on. Drogon stated that the device was meant to be integrated into an untested experimental superweapon known as the Psychic Scourge. The Psychic Scourge was designed in such a way that it would be able to interact with specific Xenos species and destroy them utterly from within their own minds. Such a weapon would be a counter to most threats facing the Imperium of mankind if used correctly and experimented with caution. This would of course include the Orc War that was currently invading the planet. And so, the decision was made. The weapon would be fired. They were running out of options. With the assistance of 2nd Lieutenant Mira of the Astra Militarum's 203rd Cadian Shock Regiment, the Ultramarines and Drogon made their way to the Psychic Scourge, battling through thousands of invading Orcs to reach the weapon and power it up. The weapon was aimed at one of the planet's orbital spires, a space elevator-like construct used to ferry goods and materials between the planet and space. Seeing little other choice to stop the Orc invasion and keep the power source out of the warboss's plans, Captain Titus and Inquisitor Drogon fired the Psychic Scourge, hoping to end the invasion there by destroying every single Orc. This should have put a swift end to the planetary invasion, but such easy victories are often fleeting dreams for the Imperium's defenders. In seeking to end one invasion, Titus had merely ushered in another. The Orcs rose from the backlash of the Psychic Scourge undamaged, and strange warp energies began to cover the surface of Graia. As the orbital spire cracked and buckled, the warp energies there began to bloom into an unholy portal, a tear into the Immaterium. A power beyond this world had been put to use, and a power beyond had reached back in kind. A portal to the warp had opened. The true perpetrators strode through. a vanguard of the blood god's chosen demons, bloodletters of Khorne, poured forth and slaughtered the orcs surrounding the weapon. And then, striding through after them, was the Chaos God's chosen. A Chaos Lord and Sorcerer of the Dark Powers Undivided appeared before Titus and his squad. His name was Nemeroth, and the first stage of his plan was now complete. Inquisitor Drogon approached Nemeroth, stepping past the toothy maws and barbed swords of the demons, before kneeling to this champion of the Dark Gods. Nemeroth revealed the truth in that moment. The real Inquisitor Drogon had been dead before Titus ever met him. This reanimated, puppeted body of Drogon was merely meant to deliver the power source to Nemeroth, and nothing more. It is possible then that the heavy wound on Drogon's chest was not the work of orcs at all, but was instead a mortal wound from a servant of chaos, which sent the Inquisitor to the grave, and his body into their service. As Nemeroth addressed his forces, Titus and his squadron were forced to their knees by dark sorcery. But much as he had done before with the device, Titus showed a remarkable resistance to the energies of the warp. He crawled forth and managed to lay a hand upon the power source. Before Nemeroth could stop Titus, the Orc warboss Grimskull intervened and began to do battle with the Chaos Lord, sending them both tumbling into the lower levels of the facility. Taking advantage of this reprieve, the Ultramarines quickly regrouped and fled with the power source. As they fled, the dynamic of the war on Graia was completely changed. Warboss Grimskull's War was now embattled against the demons of chaos and the Chaos Space Marines that had followed Nemeroth through the warp. The Chaos Lord's chosen were flooding out into the planet, corrupting guardsmen and turning them mad. The already beleaguered 203rd Cadian Shock Regiment continued to hold the line diligently where they could, but the picture of this war was now clear. The Orc invasion might no longer be the true threat, and the Chaos invasion would consume the entire planet all the same if it wasn't quickly stopped. In response to this, Captain Titus and his squad quickly worked to enact a plan that would accomplish just that. Manufactorum Ajakis still housed the warlord Titan Invictus. Its princeps and moderati operators were now able to assist Titus, and their goal would be to target the orbital spire where the Chaos Portal was located. To this end, Titus integrated the power source into Invictus's volcano cannon, infusing it with even further degrees of astronomical power from the source. As Invictus fired its weapon, blinding light radiated forth across the surface of Graia. The Titan's systems were overloaded, but it seemed like the gambit had paid off. The spire's buckling structure finally broke, and for but a moment, the energies of the portal seemed to dissipate a little. It was not completely destroyed, but the initiative had been won back. In the aftermath of this successful action, Titus and his squad would move quickly to escort the power source off-world, but there had long been brewing suspicions amongst the squad. Leandros had made his thoughts clear. Earlier at their confrontation in front of the Psychic Scourge, Lord Nemeroth had taunted Captain Titus for his role in ushering in the Chaos invasion, and noted his unusual resistance to the touch of the warp with much fascination, a trait that normally is gifted to the Dark God's followers. This, in combination with Titus's prior handling of the device without much meaningful harm, was enough to make Leandros accuse him potentially of heresy. Heresy and chaos corruption are insidious threats, but Titus was pure of spirit and mind. Sergeant Sidonus, who had known Titus the longest, quickly shut down the Battle Brothers' assertions. Even if they had had the time to address these assertions, Chaos forces would soon be on the move again, and they would hound the squadron as they moved further. Now their objective was simple. They needed to take the power source off-world, and keep it away from the Chaos Lord at all costs. Handing the power source off to Sidonus, Leandros and Titus would cover his escape and regroup with him at the landing pad. Unfortunately, this left Sidonus isolated, And an opening like this was exactly what Nemeroth was looking for. Before they could escape, Nemeroth appeared through a portal, ambushing Sidonus, impaling him upon his lightning claw and claiming the power source for himself. Before Titus could stop him, Nemeroth informed him of the power within the device, and that it was the key to his ascension into the Demon Prince of Chaos that he wished to become. Taking the device and leaving, Nemeroth's true objective had almost been accomplished. Now he had everything he needed for his ascension. Captain Titus would lay Sidonus, his old friend, to rest, and then would swear vengeance and justice. As Chaos forces descended upon the planet once more, a contingent of Space Marines from the Liberation Fleet above in orbit had started to break through. Ultramarines, Blood Ravens, and Black Templars all took part in the assault on the orbital spire, and Titus would carve through the heretical host with them, making his way to the spire to face Nemeroth. Titus would arrive in time to confront the Chaos Lord, but he would be too late to prevent Nemeroth's transformation. Battling against his minions and then Nemeroth himself, Titus would take the terms of the final confrontation into his own hands. He charged Nemeroth, sending himself and the Chaos Lord plummeting towards the ground from the top of the broken spire. Nemeroth and Titus would battle as they fell through the air. Beams of chaos energy and bolter rounds shot back and forth. Eventually, though, Nemeroth would be crushed at Titus's hands. But even as the Chaos Lord faded into the Immaterium, Titus could hear the now Demon Prince's taunting voice, asking if they would at some point meet again soon, and provoking the question of whether Chaos had truly corrupted the captain. Titus would, however, not be fazed. As the power source fell, and as Nemeroth had died, Titus grabbed it, took hold of it in both his hands, and shattered it into shards. The detonation of the device would send what remained of the orbital spire crumbling down. Titus would have met his death on that day if not for the valiant interception of the Thunderhawk gunship Lance of Jove, which recovered him before he could hit the ground. Returned to the surface of Graia, Titus awoke from the great battle, but there was little to celebrate, as soon he would be approached by Leandros, the squadron of Black Templars that had aided in the assault on the spire, and another Inquisitor by the name of Thrax. Leandros made his pointed accusation in that moment. He made it clear that he believed Captain Titus was a heretic, and Thrax was inclined to agree. The choice before the Ultramarines captain was bleak: submit to the terrors of the Inquisition and suffer if they should find his actions to have been heretical in any way, or endanger those that aided him in destroying Nemeroth and dishonor the Ultramarines chapter. But those that know the Ultramarines know that one of their war cries is courage and honor. And Titus would hold true to those words. He would not dishonor his chapter, and so he bravely submitted himself to the judgment of the Inquisition, but not before making it clear to Leandros, his battle brother, that though he had followed the Codex Astartes and clung to it for guidance, he had failed to live up to its spirit, and thus had failed as a Space Marine. The Inquisitor known as Thrax would take Titus off-world, and in Thrax's clutches, Titus would be subjected to terrible interrogations and torture in an attempt to determine if he was in fact tainted by chaos. But no evidence of corruption was discovered. Even with this, though, Titus was not released. As it turns out, Thrax held a grudge against the Astartes. In a series of events that eventually led to Thrax's corruption and death by chaos, Titus was released from his imprisonment in stasis and was sent, mercifully, to the Death Watch, an elite organization of Astartes Xenos hunters under the command of the Ordo Xenos. For over a century, Titus was separated from his chapter and its colors. Even though there was no proof of corruption to be found, the accusation of heresy alone was a stain upon Titus, and so he became a Black Shield, the markings of the Ultramarines chapter scoured from his armor as he worked to earn his redemption. A redemption that would present itself soon enough. Space Marine 2 picks up with Captain Titus and his Death Watch squadron on a critical mission to deliver a virus bomb to the heart of an encroaching Tyranid hive fleet. The battles that plagued him at Graia are long dead and gone, but the ghosts of that campaign still haunt his actions. Despite all of this, his iron will is unbroken, his faith in the Emperor is still pure, his wrathful might is unfaded. The darkness of the 42nd millennium presses in from all angles, a darkness against which he must now stand until his last breath. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider going ahead and subscribing as I cover more lore from the stories of Space Marine 2 and other universes near and far. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and also remember to leave a like. And if you have your own thoughts, leave them down below in the comments section. Assuming this does well, I'll also cover the lore from Space Marine 2 for a little bit. You'll get a few select videos including various details we learn about the plot, and some questions that you might have within the comments could get answered. But, as per usual, know that your viewership as always is quite enough for me. And in the meantime, my name is Bife. Horodacia ad Astra. I'll see you, Starside.
Hey guys, I think I'll call it here. I'm just a bit tired. I know it's been kind of a short stream. But yeah, I'll be back as usual. Always on that grind set. See you guys.